Good evening, and welcome to Nightfall in Amsterdam. Tonight we are joining a couple of the guru who follow the Master of the Wild Hunt, as they have a recently encountered ally that is perhaps more interested in developing that alliance. We find ourselves on the sept of the riddling waters. It's been about a couple days at least, since the rather large scouting party that turned into a guerrilla warfare. And so everybody has recovered and been mingling, some of them doing their own thing, but opportunity here to get together, discuss what happened and where we're going from there. The sept itself is relatively quiet. It's been quiet since the night of the conflict. Of course, that was viewed as, although tragic, positive news. Certainly the killing of other Gru is not necessarily something to be celebrated. And in light of that, the sept has also been quiet as people get ready for a backlash that they assume is coming at some point. So you guys are fairly easily able to find a place to yourselves. In fact, even if should you choose to go there, the kind of totem shrines you guys had set up is private as well at this time. But otherwise, wherever you decide to head, you'll find some privacy. With that, I'll turn it over to you guys to introduce yourselves, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, Eric is leading this band of Chuckle Fox. He's walking with a lot of purpose, a lot of grimness about him. While everyone else is probably maybe relaxing more about the celebration victory, Eric is probably the most grimmest out of them all because he knows this is far from fucking over. And far more resolute. So he kind of marches with a very quiet, grim purpose about him at the head of the party.
Yeah, fuck it. Grace is toddling along behind. Theoretically, reaches up and kind of rubs her temple. Still in a recovery phase. Albeit, she will spare a glance over for Dominic.
Dominic doesn't seem to be his usual alert and hyper self. Seems to be a bit distant, a bit lost in thought, being that Falcon gave him an order and he had to follow that order. And a lot of those individuals they fought with, he knew personally. He ran with them. He fought with them. And life decided that this was no longer a thing. So pretty much while everyone was sort of celebrating the victory, Dominic is happy that the right thing was done, but he doesn't take any out of it. But he is following quiet.
Yeah, there will be a little crane over, just because too much surly silence, especially with 2 runes, is too much fucking surly silence. So yeah, the Raggy leans over, shoots a glance, backing up at Dominic. I never noticed you had blue eyes before.
It's a thing. He smiles.
Is a thing? Very striking. I'm just saying.
I mean, I've never really thought about. This is more or less a matter of fact thing. He kind of shrugs awkwardly.
Oh, don't tell me you didn't have girls climbing all over you. That's a striking look. Pat pats the big shoulder. Dunk dunk. Tiny hand, giant shoulder. Ding ding.
He will chuckle and say that women, although I enjoy their company, it's I sort of have this thing about my nature. I've never actually, I haven't actually had any kinfolk of my own.
The little the lips pull into the little oh.
That whole thing about turning into big furry killing machine kind of makes me hesitant to pursue something like that. I'm angrier than most, even though I have nice blue eyes.
There's a pause. Very thoughtful nod as she just strides up beside Eric and taps him on the shoulder and goes, "Tag out." She can't even fuck with that.
Look over and as he's walking, like, what? What am I tagging out to? What?
You know what? Never you mind. I'll be fine. I'll just jerks a little thumb over her shoulder, I got just eases back a couple steps.
Eric gives her the most confused, what? Stare.
Dominic kind of gives you the same stare that's kind of in the picture, okay. So point to all of us.
So, there's just that look up at Dominic looks at her. She looks at Dominic. She's like, "Man, look at that tree. I didn't do anything awkward." Innocent face over 9,000. What are you looking at me like that for? Look, especially when Eric turns around with a fucking stare, what? I didn't do anything.
Did anything? Is the question was awkward.
What do you need help with? Kind of looks like he looks so confused by her fucking flailing around the place, Ah!
Nothing. I'm lovely. My phone still works technically. I feel like that's a win today.
Questions?
No. I think I have run myself right out of questions. I painted myself into a lovely corner, and I'm just going to stand here and wait for it to dry. Sage nod. Very scenic in this corner.
Just gives a nod, good. Turns and keeps walking.
Pulls a little wooden shamrock out of her pocket and starts fiddling with it.
Dominic will start humming to himself. May or may not be a small smile forming on his lips.
She is queen of the awkward face. Looking off. I don't. Nope. Everything's fine. Ooh, look at this. Fiddle, 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 fiddle.
We will have to get somewhere where the Huntsmaster will hear us. So, we do not have our Theurge nor our Philodox, but Grace and I are the Alpha and the Beta. That should be enough.
Well, he seems to understand when he wants to, so I think we should be alright.
We should be. After all, we have had a great victory and purpose. He should be very well pleased. We hunted our enemy and we hunted them down viciously. There's a sage nod if you had nods in a rune. Before we start, do you have any questions? Look at Dominic, very straightforward.
Before we do any of that, what does a pack mean to you? This would be my first, so it's my questions will be very probing and forward.
This gives a nod. It is a brotherhood. We are a pack. We hunt together. We fight together. And if necessary, we will die together. We care for each other. When one pack member falls down weak, the other pack members are by his side, picking him up again. We are here to fight the worm. But we're not so cruel and not so unkind as that we don't be there for each other. I may be a cold, get offenders, but I will sacrifice my life for each one of you as my pack. And I have shown it as he bears his fucking big scar.
Does that ferocity and willingness extend to just the pack? Or
It is those who have earned that right for me to stand with them, be that in combat or be that through their action.
even matters?
I believe in the traditional method of my people. If a metis proves itself and stands and fights and does its duty to Gaia, then it has earned itself. But if it does not, then it does not.
I shift to Grace.
He looks right at the flag like, what do you believe, huh? Yeah.
Big blue eyes looking at Grace like, yeah. Paint that corner.
Man, this corner's getting real small real fast. Yeah. Grace offers a shrug. To meet back as family. Fight with them, you eat with them, you suffer with them, you laugh with them, celebrate with them. All of it. As for the metas, at least if they're fighting on the field, there's something worth fighting beside, aren't they? Doing their fucking job.
He kind of nods. He doesn't push that line of subject. But how did you two, I guess, find each other?
We joined the sept at the same time. We were put together to look after one of the cubs. The elders thought it would be fitting, each of us having a different perspective, and eventually I invited Grace to stay at my home out of kindness and out of mutual agreement on our fight and the war that is coming.
So, the brotherhood family that you two have formed, besides the battle we've just fought, do you have any other victories to speak of?
Not many. We are still fresh. I have victories from Bloodfist, and she has victories from her life, and our other two members have those from their lives, but we are still new. We have only not been here long. But we have taken the time to know each other, train with each other.
He nods at that.
That, in truth be told, you're both raised. I mean, I was unknowing kin, but learning everything, learned it in the nation. He did too. Kind of jerks a thumb. And, well, makes him about the only person here who makes any fucking sense. At least to me.
That, and she did see me murder another one of the traitors.
Well, there was that too.
There's a nod.
I believe in swift justice. I guess we can all agree on that, but there's no sentiment lost there. But I guess the real question I'm asking is the extent of what this pack is willing to do and what they're willing to give for each other and for Gaia. That's the real brunt of it. Everything else is sort of secondary.
My life.
Well, everything.
Well, that answers that.
Isn't that what we're here to do? Kind of cracks
Indeed
a
it
grin
is.
finally.
And it's the first like genuine grin you get back. What can you tell me about the rest of the members of your pack?
Runa is young. She's still training to become one of us, but she has been taken under our wing. The huntsman decreed that it be so, which means he is sure of her intentions. She is eager. He smirks to himself.
Very eager.
But she believes in the right things, even if the young eyes are still innocent. She believes in the right... And she believes in good balance. As a Philodox, she provides that. She provides wise counsel for one who is so young.
I think the only thing she has counting against her is I'm not sure she's killed anyone with her right mind.
She has not killed anyone yet. She's not blooded herself properly.
Do you sure you want someone from House Gleaming Eye giving my very unrelenting perspectives?
I'm a Git of Fenris. If any Fenrir would trust among the Silverfangs, it would be Gleaming Eye. We have a mutual agreement with each other before.
There's finally a casual shrug. If you think I'm going to turn my nose up at some hype, clearly don't know me very well.
I don't, and that's why I'm asking the questions.
Well, we'll go and make a logical point then. Just throw their hands up like, oh, fine.
Eventually, the innocence will fade from Runa. I would rather her learn the right way and the right hand of which she can apply even the most bitter and jaded of eyes with the right action. I'd rather be that with those who believe in the right action to do so.
There's a certain amount of zealousness that I was raised with. She will undoubtedly pick up.
I was raised and I am born of Clan Ulrichsen. We are an old line, and we are more zealous than everybody realizes. I have stuck a man's head on a spike, marking him as a heretic for all his sept to see.
You did, I saw it. Sage nod.
Heresy. Good. So we can start the lessons very quickly.
The Gleaming Guy is just like, yes. Hawk is pleased. Just a slow nod. And I am also both of the Sigurdsson line, which is complicated in its own right. We understand heresy very well and what needs to be done to punish it.
Good.
Just looks over at Grace. Like, yeah, top that.
He just like throws the little like, what the fuck are you looking at me for glance?
You're the fucking beta. That type of look. Back me up.
Blank.
Yeah, you take them out blank blanks. Yeah, she admittedly has to lift her hands. Like I said, didn't know shit till it changed. I learned right. And I came home. And I'm traveling around here. But no, I don't have some long line. Gran said I was lucky to change it all.
But she does have conviction.
Oh, not that. Spades. I like in Bloodline to make up for an enthusiasm.
Loves enthusiasm. Sort of gets a smile.
Yeah, it's that smirk. As the Fianna constantly vibrates. Enthusiasm!
Our Theurge is a Shadow Lord.
Oh. Oh.
She had just 2 lines of 4. Record scratch.
Eric's like, wait, hear me out now.
Just takes. I was mistrustful at first, but I will give an example of her. When when one of the other cubs asked, should he be allowed, even though there was a possibility he had worm taint, she suggested that if he wishes to die, then let him so. That if she believes in the same things we do, she believes in the same actions, although her tribe has a lot to answer for in terms of trust.
Damn right.
She, I believe, plies her trade in the way that we do. And as well, she is associated with the Ravens, and they are associated with my tribe as much as Grace's. She has the right connections, even if she is born under a thundercloud rather than a stag or a falcon or a wolf. She has the right idea, and she is willing to learn.
Thumbs up is flashed at the mention of ravens. Like, yeah.
So is she going to be willing and or accepting of someone like me who is a very pure and proud member of House Heresy?
As long as you apply the heresy in the right direction, I believe she is more than willing to hand you the knife to carve it into their flesh.
Well, the first thing about heresy, there's no innocence, but varying degrees of guilt. We're all guilty of something.
Well, she'll probably pull up the laundry list for you.
She would probably, yeah, she probably would.
Be like, oh, by the way, he's about this much of a heretic, about 90% heretic, and here's why.
And she has stated to us, as long as we are loyal to her, she is loyal to us.
No.
Just gives a nod, like, yeah, that's my pack.
He sort of nods, like, yeah, I could get down with this. Like, he nods, like.
And our totem, well, you will see for yourself.
Yana starts vibrating again.
Yeah, and Eric will probably stand there. I don't know where the hell this thing is going to come out of, but Eric's kind of just like, it's going to fucking appear somewhere.
I imagine the easiest place to go is probably that little island that had
Yeah,
the affinity to stag.
Yeah, that's probably the
Two
easiest
skulls
place
at the
to head.
center.
Yeah, that's probably the best place to head.
So Dominic gets to play a rousing game of hop across rocks for a second down the river on Sept. And they come to this little island. Nice little grassy island. And among, there's rabbit holes and whatnot. I imagine it's night, so not much is out. Thinking on the brood. Probably not much out. But there are, for the sake of designation, a pair of stag's skulls with the antlers interlocked at the center of the little isle.
Yeah, and actually, there's someone has put at least some sort of walkways, so you don't have to entirely hopscotch. Given the improvements to the islands, they added walkways, aiding Eric's efforts. And actually, when you get there, Angrim, the kinfolk shaman, is just leaving, and he nods and he says, "It's not the way I was taught, but it does seem to be a good way." And he gives Eric a nod and walks off.
Eric could pay the nod back, like, oh, thanks. Just each way is good, brother. Each way is good.
And as you're on the island, coming from one of the islands further down, I guess just to so that Anthony out of character understands there's a fairly large stream that runs through the Sept, and a series of smaller islands dot the stream, and then there's stones in between them, and it's known as the Dragon Spine. And the larger islands each kind of have affinities to different tribal broods. So this one is coming from what would be like the end of the dragon spine, where the stream goes out into the sea, and it's a fairly large. Looks mostly humanoid, but you can see the antlers, and it looks. You can see or hear pieces of bone, like wind chimes, almost rattling in the antlers as it lumbers in, and it kind of you can hear behind the mask a sort of sniffing, like a wolf might do on a hunt or that sort of thing as it looks around.
Yeah, once he sees it, Eric will drop to one knee to show respect, but won't revere bare throat because that would have been a predator acknowledging another predator. He just drops to one knee out of, respect to his fucking totem.
Yeah, Grace promptly does the same, though as she does so, she'll bring up her thumb to her teeth, bite it. And again, much as she did the first time, instead of 9 drops, it's just 3. She'll make sure 3 drops of blood come out of her thumb onto the ground, and then, mumble thanks, and then promptly, put a finger over the mild cut she's bitten into her thumb just to make sure she doesn't fuck up the number.
And he looks between the two of you, and he looks back down the spine, and you kind of hear his voice sort of grumbling and gravelly. An interesting choice to meet on Stag's Island rather than Fenrir's.
Since each of us have a different tribe, I thought best to start with one that is you are most commonly associated with, which is the daughters and sons of Stag. Although you are known among my people, it is easier to start with the ones we know first for the new member who wishes to join.
He nods again and says, "So that is who you brought. They didn't smell of prey, but I thought perhaps it would be a challenge."
Eric will smirk to himself because he's like, that's why I like you. He is a child of Falcon and a full moon, and he has earned himself favor in joining us in our hunt against our enemy and proving himself valorous in doing so.
He kind of nods, and you hear the bones in the that are hanging from his antlers kind of clack together. And he looks over at Dominic, and he says, "Your tribe has a history of finding honor and glory in open combat. The way of the hunters is to only enter into combat once you have assured victory. Stalk, trap, these may be less valorous methods, but they're effective." Are these methods that you can recognize the value in?
These are the methods of house claiming, which I am a proud son of. Such was my father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, and as the line goes.
You don't hear any sound, but you kind of see his shoulders moving like he's laughing a little bit, and you can hear the bones clattering some more. And he looks at Eric and he says, Well, short of finding the Inquisition themselves, or bringing one of those
I remade ice. Okay, so
God's forsaken judges, you probably weren't going to find a more aggressive hunter.
Oh, the children of Falcon, known as the Gleaming Eye, are good friends of my tribe. We have many agreements together. And judging by the ferocity of which I saw him slay the others, I would have him stand beside me. And I am glad that he would think to do so. You look over at the other Arun and just give him that kind of a Arun, like, I saw you fucking throwing down and shit.
Give you fucking. He'll give you thug eyes. There you go.
Yeah. That's my boy. Yeah, but you just give the respectful nod.
Nah, gets back.
He says, well, I am familiar with their house from my manifestations there, where I am known as Hearn the Hunter. And you have shed blood together already. This is good. Those who hunt together must be able to share prey together as well.
Just gives a nod.
And then he turns to Dominic and he says, and what role do you envision with this pack? You know how to hunt to sniff out that which needs to be destroyed. You know how to fight. Do you come here seeking the place of leadership as the warrior at the head of the pack? Do you come as a questioner, a scout?
I come as. Continue, sorry.
Are you to be the rear guard, taking up the rear of the pack, watching, listening, prepared for the dagger from behind?
Dominic will tilt his head very slightly and say it almost takes an unnatural angle, but you could definitely see the glint in his teeth as his body kind of relaxes, his chest cavity expanding, compressing, almost as if he's savoring the right words to say. I believe a person in a pack, the duty to each of them to act in a way that is necessary. Should the leaders of the pack prove unworthy, then as their brother, it is my job and obligation to be what they cannot. Vigilant just as they are. I fight side by side.
He nods again and says, so you are the shield that blocks the chinks in their armor, that protects their blind side.
If If Hell's Hammer is indeed the sword, and my feisty redhead is the heart, he smiles, then it would be my honor to be the shield.
He turns to Eric and he says, "And you accept another warrior into your pack?"
I do.
He looks between you both. Then he looks at Grace. He says, "And you, little hunter, the quiet one, what are your thoughts? The hunt is hardest on the full moon because the prey sees us."
Oh, but honored spirit, they don't see me.
They do not see you as easily, nor do they see you as much a threat, because you know how to be discreet. Warriors can be loud. They're savage, sure, but a loud hunt is a bloody one. To bring warriors into your hunt is to risk the prey hearing when it may flee or fight. Do you believe these warriors are worth that risk to bring another in?
Of course, honored spirit. After all, if they do try and take off, that's why I'm already at their back. We'll just drive them back into the waiting jaws.
He kind of nods a little bit at that. And he looks back and forth. He says, "Never before have I had a pack that was as aggressive as this. To take two full moons, especially into such a small pack, means that you are not simple hunters anymore, not just a hunting pack. I would expect a pack with such capable combatants to be hunting only the most dangerous of prey." He looks back and forth between the two of you and he says, "I'm willing to trust you, Alpha, and to trust you, the beta of the pack. We will try this warrior hunter formation that you have dreamed up." Tomorrow is a hunter's moon, when no light shines. Good time for a hunt. By the following hunter's moon, I expect to have seen this pack fell inappropriate prey. Show me that it's worth it to have warriors as hunters. Show me that the additional combat focus allows you to take down bigger and more dangerous prey. Hunt another predator and bring it for me, and we will finalize this agreement.
And what
But
would
yes,
you have of it? Oh, sorry.
I do accept this questioner, into our pack. Now I just ask that you show me that I'm making the right decision.
Of course.
And what would you have of our prey spirit? Do you still prefer the livers? The stories tell?
Yeah. Looks at you and he says, that's part of the challenge, determining what you feel is appropriate prey and an appropriate challenge. It tells me how well you know your own capabilities and how well you're willing to push them.
Of course.
Rest
Just wanna know
assured,
which
if you
part
bring me a sheep, it will not suffice.
I wouldn't dare. Only wish to know which part you want the most. Be brought back to you.
He kind of nods and says, well, I'm no Wendigo to bother with hearts. Nor am I a glory monger like Eagle that I must demand a head. But if you are hunting a predator, then most appropriate would be to bring back its weapons, would it not?
Just gives a nod. Like Eric's like, I can fuck with that.
Of course.
Let's do it.
The runes are just like, yes.
You have one turning of the moon. Choose your prey, plan your hunt. Bring glory and victory to the pack.
Will be done, spirit. I'm like cracking a grin.
He turns and he takes down a number of the bones from his antlers and he casts them before you, all of you. And he says, a minor boon for the pack. May it aid in your hunts and bring you victory. And then he turns and heads back down the spine.
Eric was turning, very carefully pick up the bones, and we'll hand them to Grace. Like, you take these and keep them safe because you carry all the fucking trinkets.
Yep. Grace very delicately picks up the few that were cast close to her and happily takes the rest and is just like still vibrating in Fianna.
Well, then there you have it. You get to hunt.
I'm down. But you
We
have
will
in
have to
mind.
talk. We will talk with the others first. Make sure the pack is aware, and then we will plan. But we will make sure it is bloody and big. Zarek just grins like, yes. He's walking off. You know, like, oh, I'm so fucking ready.
You want me to get on the gossip train and see what's even around?
Nods. Do. And suggest to the Theurge as well that she should do the same.
She like snaps off a little salute, like yeah. Looks back at Dominic, big smile. Oh,
Face bump. He kind of grabs you by the back of your head and kind of gives you like the full frontal leg, noggin to noggin, runs off.
no.
And yes, they will head off. And
All right. Why do I feel like the two Aroons are about to go find a couple of horns of meat and some swords to
pretty
clash?
much. That's pretty much how it is.
All right.
Grace toddles along, like vaguely in the same direction in their wake, just counting the baubles to see if she, to make sure she has a tally, and just kind of eyeballing them to see if she recognizes any little symbols or anything on them.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it right there. So this has been another werewolf scene for Nightfall in Amsterdam, as a new member joins the pack of the Wild Hunt. Thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Look forward to seeing you again soon.